He never would have thought of that himself.
I don't know why he gets so worked up.
That's all just gossip.
It was just like you said.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Morgan. Bid you all welcome back to Gothic 2. I forgot to pull up the list of what we're doing today. Bear with me one moment.
It's all just gossip.
So, I figured today we'd start off with something that we've kind of
That's all just
been
gossip.
avoiding just because it's really truly useless, but we
It's quite obvious.
became a citizen of the town a few episodes ago, which means we have access to the upper quarter, actually. Why don't we take a wander?
Only the citizens of the town and the king's troops can get into the upper end of the town.
Nobody will learn anything from me.
I'm a respected citizen of Corinus. Let me pass.
Whatever prompted the masters of Corinus to let you sign on as an apprentice, I don't want to know about it.
Good, it's none of
You
your
may
business.
enter, but behave yourself. Otherwise, you'll have the worst trouble in your life.
Man,
I've heard
become a citizen of a town and I still get harassed like this. This town has gone to the dogs.
What are you doing here?
Who are you then? Looks like you're new and have no idea what's going on around here. They call me Gabrant. That's Mr. Gabrant. Sir to you. Got it?
Mr. Gabrant, Sir Esquire Sr.
I got it, Gerbrand.
Careful with that big mouth of yours. You'd better show me a little more respect, or else you're headed for all kinds of trouble here. I call the shots here. Whoever causes trouble has to answer to me, and it better skip town in a hurry, because once I'm done with him, he'll wish he never laid eyes on me. Most people around the harbor work for me. If you're ever looking for work, you would better see to it that my memories of you are pleasant ones.
Anything new?
People like you have no business up here. This is where the respectable society resides, and not tramps or crooks. If you should ever succeed in becoming wealthy and respectable, you might find yourself more welcome here.
Ah yes, the typical vanity of the affluent in these kind of games. They're just full of shit and acting like money equals, you know, manners and respectability. Bah,
Ah, you again.
me again.
So, you actually managed to get into the upper quarter. There are some things you must heed here. Otherwise, you will wind up outside as fast as you got in here. You're only allowed to enter the merchants' buildings. You can recognize them by the signs over the door. Just so there are no misunderstandings. The other buildings belong to important citizens. There is nothing there for you. The important citizens of this town live in this quarter, so treat them with respect. Do we understand each other?
Sure.
So unfortunately you can't dodge the rules this time around. He makes sure that you sit there to listen to him.
Where can I find Lord Hagen?
He's in the town hall, at the end of the upper quarter, but you will not be admitted there without a good reason.
Oh, I have the best reasons.
Has anything exciting happened lately?
Yes, that they let someone like you in here. Such a thing hasn't happened in ages.
That'll never change.
Well then, even this paladin, supposed to be protecting the innocent, looking out for everybody, still can't resist throwing his
I'm not touching.
narcissistic weight around.
How's business?
Not so great. Back when the barrier was still in place, times were better. The prisoners
Yeah,
would
maybe for
scrape
some of you.
boxes and boxes of ore from the mines, and my ships then brought it to the mainland. On their way back, they bought food and other wares. But now we're cut off from the mainland, and have to rely on the farmers for supplies.
How do you make a living now?
Right now, I'm living off my savings. But if I can't get back into business, times are gonna get rough for me.
Well then, you shouldn't have gotten into such a delicate trade. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
I've got no time for things like that.
Well, they said we can't get in here, but let's try anyway.
Halt! Only men who are in service to the king may enter the town hall.
I need to speak to Lord Hagen.
Do you know how often I've heard that? You can't go in. If you try anyway, I'll have to kill you.
Alright, well, he's very sincere about that.
I've got no time for things like that.
Don't mind that.
What are you doing here?
What do you think, huh? I'm a gardener. I take care of the garden.
You're pretty much by yourself here, aren't you?
Yes, and it should stay that way. I'm glad that I have some peace here. Once, they wanted to send me to the penal colony because I did some guy in. But Larius, the governor, needed another gardener, and so I could stay here. Over time, this garden has become my home, and I'm content with that.
Wow, so you got completely absolved of having to go to the colony after murder, yet there are people who simply couldn't pay taxes who didn't get out as lucky as you did. Man, such a distorted sense of justice in this world.
Are you growing herbs as well?
A few. I'm growing fireweed and fire nettles. I also tried swamp weed, but that doesn't really thrive here. Well, I just harvested. So if you want to buy something...
Show me your wares.
That's literally all he has, which makes him probably the most useless merchant in this entire game. But he has a few assorted herbs that he's not harvested yet. These ones back here. Obviously doesn't know his stuff that well, because those are even more valuable. Also, may I point out that the fence protecting the governor's residence kind of means nothing when you have an opening over here, and also no gate out front. But then again, nobody even has doors.
What's new?
They say the farmers have rebelled. We can't use crap like that now, when we're in the middle of a war with the orcs.
Tell me about it.
I want to join the militia.
Good.
Okay. Guess he won't help me with that. Well, this guy looks like a straight-up pimp.
What are you doing here?
What are you accosting me for? Who are you anyway? Say, don't I know you from somewhere?
In the name of King Robar II, bearer of the scepter of Verant, I sentence this convict.
Spare me the rest of his nonsense.
How dare you?
Keep silent.
Not that I remember.
That's funny. I could have sworn I'd met you before. Never mind. You're all obviously gutter scum anyway. You all look alike somehow.
God damn these people.
Maybe so.
Don't get snotty. Who do you think you're talking to anyway? The least you can do is address me in a more appropriate tone. And now get out of my sight.
How's it going?
Have I not made it clear that I want no contact with you?
No, not in so many words.
So I certainly hope you get the point now.
So you might recognize this cockeyed motherfucker. He had a small part to play in our history. So yeah. Interesting enough, if you join a certain faction, you actually get a bit of comeuppance with that fellow. But otherwise, he's pretty much useless. We do have the opportunity to rob him pretty severely later, though. So that's cool, I guess.
I'm not touching that.
Hey, you!
My name is Ludero.
Is it?
I buy and sell all kinds of things.
Do you?
What wares do you have to offer?
Well, especially rare and unusual things. So far, I've always managed to fulfill my customers' wishes.
Have you?
Show me your wares.
So he's got not much of interest right now, which is funny. He talks about his rare and unusual things. He has some assorted reagents that we can use in the crafting of runes later on, but that's not something we're gonna be able to utilize anytime soon. He also, strangely enough, has an Oblivion spell, which only Ignaz is supposed to have. But later on, as the chapters progress, his inventory fills out with some more interesting things.
Hey, you! What are you doing here?
I make sure that nobody enters the houses. Explicit order from Lord Hagen, and don't even think about violating this order.
I've got no time for things.
I wouldn't even think about it. Wouldn't even consider possibly bribing you at a later date so you go away and let me rob the houses.
Welcome, traveler. Looking for a fine potion? I have a large selection and reasonable prices, and my potions are much better than the stuff that Zurus sells.
Show me your wares.
Ironically, his inventory is smaller and has a worse selection and are not better than Zurus' stuff. The only thing of interest he has is this, which we can buy it now, which I will because I'll probably forget any other occasion. This is probably the most bang for your buck you're ever going to get. 500 damage and a fairly substantial AoE. That only cost 250 gold. The other scroll he had, the storm spell, was 200 gold and did half the damage. And the interesting thing is, it only costs 5 mana. Now, many spell scrolls only cost 5 mana, because the idea is that they are supposed to be allow anybody who doesn't do magic to have access to a disposable spell. As a result, they can't really require too much of an investment in mana. The problem is there are some scrolls that actually do require quite a bit more than what those than what you start off with for mana. I mean, there's some that cost up to 100, and there's no way you're going to have that without being a mage. So it kind of makes those scrolls useless.
Never again shall you walk upon my land, for it is sacred, and so shall it be.
It shall be. Why did I come to this guy? I actually didn't want to talk to him. I wanted to talk to the fellow in here, who just happens to have a similar voice, but...
Can I get a drink here?
If you have gold, you can even eat here if you like.
Show me your wares.
Well, all he has to eat is stew and apples. Don't got no peanuts, cashews. What kind of bar is this?
And how's business going?
Don't remind me. Lord Andre is serving free beer at the Gallows Square. Hardly anybody comes here now, except for the rich people from the upper quarter.
What's wrong with them?
Yeah, some of those swells could really get on your nerves. Take that Valentino, for instance. I can't stand the sight of him. But I can't pick my customers. I need every coin I can make. What little I had managed to save has been stolen, along with all my silver.
Oh, your silver?
You've been robbed?
Yep, some time ago. It was still rather crowded that night, and I was doing the rounds serving beer. I wasn't gone long from behind the counter, but it was long enough for those bastards. I went to see the militia about it.
The militia?
Couldn't find a thing, of course. Yeah. They prefer to get plastered on free beer.
Yeah, our taxes go a long way, don't they?
I've got your silver.
Really? Here, take this as a reward. A very special beer. This is my last keg.
Ooh, special beer? Where is it? Where he at? There it is. So this is one of the, it can get confusing with the way some items refer to a hit point recovery as a bonus. In this case, the bonus is an actual bonus. This is a 3-point increase to your hit points, 1 point increase to your mana. Which is not terribly useful to us now. But we've already gotten 2 points of mana. That's kind of useless anyway. So, might as well bump it up.
What is it with this Valentino?
He's filthy rich and has no need to work. And he brags about it to everybody, whether you want to hear it or not. He drinks a lot and always stays until the end, and then early in the morning he totters back to the upper quarter. It's the same every day.
Tell me about the missing townspeople.
I heard that a lot of them went missing down by the harbor. Small wonder with all that's going on down there. Even Thorben, the carpenter in the lower part of town, has lost his apprentice. Hakon, one of the merchants in the marketplace, had an especially strange tale to tell. He said that there was this fella that he used to bump into every day, and then suddenly he vanished off the face of the earth. He even went to see the militia about it. Townspeople all pretty much panicked after that. I don't know what to make of it. I think it's all nonsense. Corinthus is a rough city, and many dangers lurk outside her gates. Those who don't stay within the city walls will be attacked by bandits or eaten by wild animals. Yeah, it's that simple.
Well, your city cannot possibly sustain itself without getting goods from outside. Obviously, those so-called traveling merchants don't really seem to run into any trouble. Anyway, while we're in the neighborhood, we were told we were charged by the Thieves Guild to steal a ring from Constantino. Obviously, while he's wide awake, working here, it's gonna be hard to get our hands on it. She didn't exactly say where it was, but it is in this chest, so we don't have to pickpocket him or anything. Now, the easiest way to rob him is to wait until he goes to bed.
Get out of my bed!
And he just lets us snooze all the way until then. So, once he's asleep, you can kind of sneak in here. It can be a bit difficult using the sneak mode because those guys over there might be able to see you. But not always. Now, as stated, even if you're not in sneak mode, strafing does not wake anybody up. But a forward walk will. As you can see. But if we just kind of stroll out of eyesight, should go back to sleep, and then we can just strafe right in. Now, I think it is possible. I haven't really been able to prove this, but I think it is possible if you break a lockpick that people who are sleeping can hear it. It seems to be a chance thing, because they don't always. Anyway, the combination here is left, right, right, left, right. Seems to be the single most common combination in this game. I don't know why I'm still doing that. Don't need it. Sneak right on out of here. So this ring is a ring of wood protection. But it's not useful to us. A moderate, or not even moderate, a very mild increase in our arrow defense. Get out of my way. I'm still in your bed.
Damn it. What's up?
So I guess we'll turn that in to Cassia.
So why won't they listen to me?
Now, while we were talking about the missing citizens earlier, I figure we might as well inquire with the fishermen, since we've heard that they might have some inside information. Or not really inside information, but they know people have gone missing. So they might have some answers for us. We haven't talked to this woman yet.
What are you cooking there?
Oh, fish soup. It's not all that tasty, but at least it's hot. You can try a plateful, if you like.
I might like.
What can you tell me about the city?
Most citizens in this town are afraid of thieves. Therefore, it's not a good idea to enter strange houses. But if you're looking for a place to stay overnight, you're welcome to sleep in my hut. There's an extra bed that you can have.
Aren't you afraid of thieves?
The only valuable thing that I ever owned has already been taken. Oh, someone stole my statue of Enos.
Well, that's a damn shame, and what sacrilege.
Could you cook me some soup?
I cook for everybody. For you too, if you want. All you need to do is bring me a fish.
This woman seems to be short of breath.
Could you cook me some soup?
Nothing could be simpler. Here, have a plate.
Why, thank you. A plate of soup.
Who are you?
I'm called Attila, but is my name important? Our names are meaningless.
Apparently so, because you can't even spell it the same way twice. So he never really does anything again. He does have slightly different dialogue once you formally join the Thieves Guild. But until then, he just repeats that line. But regardless, he never really gets anywhere. Or gets us anywhere. Just stays there eating soup all day. On the subject of thieves, it is interesting to note that a lot of the citizens seem to have put shit up on their roofs to probably keep it out of the hands of thieves. So if we just take a stroll up here, nobody minds our footsteps on the roof. we can kind of help ourselves. Now, I didn't know this, but all of this stuff was actually added by the Night of the Raven expansion. None of it existed in vanilla, which I could have sworn it had. But it turns out I am incorrect. Nope, I missed.
And it's gonna get even worse.
Last one is up here? Oh no. Saw something this way. Here we have an ice arrow.
It's a bad business.
So we've walked past this building multiple times. Every time I pass it, I think, oh, you know what? I might be able to beat this guy. He is actually outrageously difficult. If you really wanted to go ham, you could hit him with this. That would take care of it. Oh, okay, here's one of the spells I was talking about. You see how the minimum mana cost is 40, max is 160. That's because this is one of those so-called investment spells where if you hold it down, you charge it up with more mana. Unfortunately, that means that we can't use it. Even though it would probably wipe this guy out. But we do have these. It might be overkill. I am tempted to do this now. Ah, fuck it. We'll do it another time. Old Garvel. Still waiting on information on what the Paladins are up to. Oh yeah, we still gotta we gotta sort out Larry's backup. I'm actually gonna hold off on that until if anyone's following this along, they've probably met who it is by now. But I'm holding off on that up until we are actually heading out of town with Larry's. So I don't think it's necessary at the moment. We haven't been down this way yet. If you keep wandering down this path, you'll see the ship that the Paladins came in on. We'll take a glance on it, but I'm actually going to take care of all this another time. There it is, that magnificent galleon. Actually, it is a fairly impressive ship, and ironically, is bigger than any of the ships in Risen 2 or 3. But it doesn't go anywhere. Regardless, we'll deal with that in a different time. What we're really here to see is this lonely fisherman here, who in the vanilla game was actually just a giant rat. All this hut and everything were here, but there was no fisherman down here. This guy is solely added by Night of the Raven. I guess while we're here, you see this frying pan, which can't quite reach. There's actually a quicker way to cook up all your meats if you just keep hammering like the forward button, which in my case is W. You can cook your meat faster than you can on the stoves that you see in people's households. So this is the way I prefer to do it. Basically, cooking the meat, the only thing you can cook is raw meat that you get from like wolves and scavengers and giant rats and stuff. But cooking it doubles its healing factor. I think they normally heal 6 hit points. By cooking it, it heals 12. And there is a strange bug. Actually, I'm not sure if it still happens in Night of the Raven, but there's a strange bug where, excuse me, if you keep hammering the button like that, you actually make out with more cooked meat than you had raw meat. It's strange, I don't know how it happens, but I'll take anything for free. Anyway, let's have a chat with this feller.
Hey, you! You're a fisherman?
Now, how did you ever guess that? Can't you simply leave me alone? Don't take it personally, but I haven't been too happy lately. It's that militia.
So if you are a member of the militia, he actually directs that statement at you, which is interesting.
Trouble with the militia?
Those bastards keep coming here and taking whatever they want. Last week, they made off with my entire catch. It's for a good cause, they said. I know that everybody's got to fend for himself since the farmers have stopped trading. And of course, sometimes people just go hungry. Small wonder that they're snatching the fish from right under my nose. But if they keep doing this,
I won't even have enough to feed myself.
You might if you didn't just leave them all dead in the sand.
Have you talked to the paladins about this?
Are you joking? Do you really think they'd be interested if a poor devil like me has his problems with the militia?
They might. Have you tried asking?
Maybe I can help you.
I don't know. I suppose you'd have to know somebody from the militia who has connections to the paladins. The paladins will hardly buy the fish from me.
I shall see what I can do. Can you tell me something about the missing people?
My friend William started hanging out with a bunch of shady characters. And where did it get him? One day he simply didn't show up for work. And that's the last we saw of him.
Your buddy William has disappeared?
So he has. He's a fisherman, but a little too big for his boots, I should add. He should have stayed well away from that bunch.
That ambiguous bunch.
When did you last see him?
Only a few days ago.
Maybe he just went out to sea to fish.
That's not very likely. His boat is still moored in the harbor.
We'll get back to that point. Remind me.
What's he been up to?
William had some shady dealings with those crooks. I think it was all about contraband that he sold to the bastards.
What bastards would those be?
I don't know who they are or what their business is here in Corinus. I only know the place where they met up with William. I just happened to see William there when I was fishing in the bay.
He'll surface again.
I don't think so. He's been gone for too long already. I'm afraid that I'll be dragging his body from the sea at some point.
Where exactly is that meeting place?
There's a bay opposite the harbor, north of here. You can only reach it by boat or swim. There's a beach there, and a small fishing camp. That's where I saw them.
I think I've heard enough.
Spare yourself the effort. I don't believe you'll find him.
So, how are the fish biting?
I've seen better times. Too little to live on, too much to die.
So I wonder why he never reported this to the militia, or if he has, none of them went to investigate. I mean, shady crooks dealing with people just outside your harbor? So I don't know if this is just in the sort of unlocked view distance, but you actually can see the camp from here. You see a little boat there, little tent there. That's where we're going to be headed shortly. It's actually the second time we've heard about it, because Cassia also gave us a clue in that direction. So you don't actually have to talk to William to get to get over there. If you just take a swim there yourself, it's just you miss out on the quest to find William, which I don't think is its own quest. It's just lumped in with the rest of them. Yeah. Anyway, he's having trouble with the militia. They're stealing his stuff. We're gonna see if we can convince someone with the paladins to help him out.
Hey, you have no business up here. Only paladins and those of us in the militia have access here.
What's up here, then?
This is the provisions store of the Royal Guard of the Paladins. I am the provisions master here, and I'm responsible for seeing to it that none of the paladin stuff goes astray, and you're not wanted here. So keep your hands to yourself or I'll chop them off.
You're looking for the man who is selling weapons to the bandits?
Says who?
Says Vatras.
Oh. What do you know about it?
Not much, but I could find out more.
Ah. Is that so?
Tell me, what do you know about the weapons dealer?
Listen, we know that an influential citizen in the upper quarter must be behind it. And some of the weapons are even supposed to have come from the militia's supplies. We still don't know exactly who's behind it. If you have enough guts to take on a group of at least 5 bandits, maybe you can find out.
What an oddly specific number.
What about the bandits?
We know that the bandits are currently blockading the roads that connect the farmers to the city. Besides that, I know that there must have been a weapons delivery in the last few days. Maybe some clues to uncover the weapons dealer could be found with the bandits.
About the weapons dealer? What was that again?
Listen, you're supposed to find out who's behind the weapons deliveries to the bandits and bring me proof. But it has to be really incriminating evidence, otherwise I can't arrest the guy.
So you can actually build up a wealth of evidence, but as far as I know, there's only one particular document you need to really burn the guy. But that's not something we're going to get into for a while.
Can you sell me any of the Paladin's stuff?
You want to buy? Let's say that if you could compensate me for the trouble that will arise from the Paladin's things wandering off, then we might be able to do business.
Does that happen often? Things going astray?
As long as the provisions master says that everything is right, no.
I see.
Well, that seems simple enough.
What do you have to offer?
Then pay attention.
So, he actually has some outrageously valuable weapons, things that we cannot afford. This Master Sword is one of the best dex, based, not really based, but dex requiring melee weapons that you're going to get in the game. And this is one of a handful of places that you can actually get it. So if you want it sooner rather than later, you got to buy it now, because as I said, there's a bug where NPCs will equip the best item from their merchant inventory. He also has spell scrolls for paladin spells, which is interesting. I'm not sure that these even existed in the vanilla game, and he's the only person who sells them. But we can't really use any of his weapons anyway, so that's of no help.
Farum the fisherman has problems with the militia. The boys are constantly stealing from him.
And what do I have to do with it?
You have a certain amount of influence up here with the Paladins. Farum needs your protection. He's willing to give you a part of his catch for it.
I see what you mean. Fish. As if I didn't have enough crap to deal with. Tell your pal he should come to me and tell me exactly what's up with the militia. I'll take care of it.
Oh, aren't you a kind soul? Well, I think I solved your problem. It turned out to be much easier than you thought.
I know how to resolve your trouble with the militia.
And how would that be?
Martin, the provisions master of the Paladins, wants to hear your story about the militia and the fish.
And you think he can make the militia leave me alone?
At least that's what he said.
Great, thank you. I cannot give you much, but wait. I found this strange blue stone on one of the islands off the coast of Corinus. I don't think it's worth a whole lot, but someone like you will certainly find a use for it.
An aquamarine. Well, we can embed that in our ring, I guess. So, stuff like that are basically reagents, to use the Ultima term, in order to craft runes, which is something you couldn't do in Gothic 1, but has become an ability in this game, and is quite interesting. I don't quite remember what spells it's actually used for. But there's many opportunities to get one, so it's not like it's a fantastic reward. So, we've heard so much about this meeting place down around the corner here. If you wanted to, you actually don't need to swim, which is kind of hilarious. If we just get up on this wall here, we can actually make it over without so much as getting our feet wet. Do a little hop. You remember, this is basically the way we came into the city. Don't need no boat or to swim. So let's see what we got going on here. Definitely was in use at some point. Got a boat here. The sail seems to have gone astray. Got another stone tablet. I think it was the magic one this time. We also have a lot of clams. Now, we haven't picked up any clams yet. These are strange little things. They have... I don't think it's a random chance for rewards. But they have all sorts of odd shit in them. So occasionally you can really get lucky and get a pearl. Sometimes you only get clam meat. Sometimes you just get random stones. As a fellow, you might have just spotted him in front of the tent, but I want to grab everything before we chat at him. Strangely, he doesn't seem too pissed off that we're here. Sneaking up on him. I think it actually might be more valuable to sell these clams than it is to take the stuff out, but I'm probably wrong about that. At this point, we've got 2 of each of these. I think alone are worth more than any, all the clams are. So anyway, there's this old swashbuckling-looking fellow here. Let's have a chat with him.
There you are at last. I've been waiting here for hours. Just a moment. You're not a merchant from town, are you? Where is Baltram?
Baltram?
Baltram? You're waiting for a merchant?
Smart kid, aren't you? That's what I just said, isn't it? That good-for-nothing junk merchant seems to have forgotten me. If only I could get my hands on him.
I always thought it was a neat touch how he stands up for, emphasis when he says that.
Who are you?
I don't see how that's any of your business. But if you must know, my name is Skip. Does that ring a bell?
Who?
Are you telling me you've never heard of Skip? Holy shit! Where do you live? I'm one of Corinus's most wanted criminals. Me and my boys have been the scourge of the waters around this crummy island for years. Come on, you must have heard of me.
But of course. It's all coming back to me now.
Honestly, you've really heard of me before? Oh shit! And I had been thinking of strolling into town. Good thing I didn't. The militia would have put me in the slammer right away.
Oh, sure. They're on the hunt for you. You're the most wanted man on this island.
Where do you come from?
You want to know where our hideout is? If I tell you that, I might as well invite the militia to arrest me. And
well, you're already hiding here.
To pay us a visit, it wouldn't help you in the least. The island of Corinus is large, and no one ever gets to where we are anyway, unless they have a cog or some other ship. And then you'd have to find your way through the cliffs as well. Nobody gets through there unless they know the secret path. There are only 2 people who know the path, and you're not one of them.
A lot of citizens are missing, and everything seems to indicate that you're not quite innocent in the matter.
Damn it. It's not what you think it is. Do I look like a slave trader to you? No, I only transport goods. What they are and where they come from is no concern of mine. We have shipped all kinds of things for those swine. First, it was just regular stuff. Well, sometimes it may have been contraband. But then they started to kidnap the inhabitants of the city. No idea what they're planning to do with them. All we did was ferry them across.
Where did you take those people?
I already told you. I'm not going to tell you where our bay is.
Who are you talking about?
The bandits, of course. Who else? The filthy scum who are making themselves at home all over the island. And not just here, around Corinus.
Just bandits isn't good enough for me. I want a name.
A name? You want to know who's leading the bandits? Damn it! What was that bastard's name again? I just can't recall his name. even if it wasn't all that complicated. But I can show you where to find the boss of the gang in this part of Corinus. Have you got a decent map?
Here, I've got a map of Corinus.
That's good. Let me draw in the hideout of this fellow. I remember his name now. Dexter. Yes, I think they called him Dexter.
Dexter?
Here's your map.
We remember that name. Well, actually, that's the second time we've heard it, so... So this is what happens if you have the map when you talk to Skip. You will actually, make a very abstract shape around where the hideout is. Don't know why it's so scribbly. But if you don't have the map on you, he just tries to give you directions relative to the nearby landmarks, including the landowner's farm. Which we've also gotten those directions from the bandit previously anyway, so it's not really a big deal. But good old Skip. Doesn't even mind us taking all his shit here. Looks like Baltram is involved in even more shady business. Whatever contraband he wanted from the farmers that the Thieves Guild saw fit to abscond with. Apparently, he's also dealing with pirates, so this guy just cannot help himself. Next thing we'll find out will probably be that he deals with the bandits as well. You know, I actually think those might be randomized. I don't remember getting such good loot, as it were, from any of these clams. So, I guess while we're in the neighborhood, we'll drop off this ring with Cassia around the corner. Might as well finalize our initiation.
Hey! I've got Constantino's ring.
Congratulations. You passed your initiation test. Now you're truly one of us. Take this key. It opens the door to the hotel. Then you won't have to swim every time. Furthermore, you should know that we have a secret sign, a particular nod. Exactly.
Well, that
when
was
you
a
talk to
very
the right
good
people
guess.
and make this sign, they'll know you're one of us.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be suspicious when I start, like, bobbing my head like I have an itch on the back of my neck.
So where are you hiding your loot?
Come on, you didn't really think I would tell you that. You'll have enough opportunity to get your hands on some loot of your own. Remember, those who are too greedy end up with nothing.
Have you got a job for me?
Yes, there is a matching set of chalices. 6 of them. King Robar once captured them during a campaign, but he sacrificed many men so he could get them. That's why they're called the blood chalices. Each of the chalices by itself is not all that valuable, but the 6 of them all together are worth a tidy sum.
Where are these chalices?
They're here in town. They belong to the rich merchants in the upper quarter. Bring them to me. In the meantime, I'll try to find a buyer for them.
What's in it for me?
Either half the profit, or you get to pick a special item from my booty.
Ooh, from your booty. Swiggity swooty. That's probably the worst backstory for any special item in this game, or in any video game. The idea that the king sacrificed men to get a bunch of chalices that had no, like, strategic value. They just seemed to have value, and they're apparently not that valuable on their own. So the fact that they just ended up in the hands of some random merchants in some, like, backwoods island, like, that whole story is just nonsense to me.
Hey!
I don't know why I'm so fixated on it. Speaking of that, I asked you to remind me of something earlier while we were talking to Farum, and you didn't. So, I was gonna point out another of the many continuity errors in this game, where Lares had said that a lot of fishermen have vanished along with their boats, whereas we only hear about one fisherman who vanished, and his boat's still in the harbor. So get your shit together, Lares. Like, no wonder you can't find the people. You can't even get your details in order.
Well, you know the sign. I'm impressed.
Where is it worth the trouble to break in?
In the upper quarter of town, of course. But if you want to break into somewhere up there, wait until night. Everyone's asleep then, except for the city guards. They patrol at night. I know one of them. Wombo. He's the only one interested in gold. He's expensive, but once you've paid him, you don't have to worry anymore.
I told you we'd be bribing that guy. But that's not something we're gonna do now, because in order to rob the upper end of town and get all the blood chalices, we actually need to learn picking pockets, which is not something I want to invest the learning points in right now.
Look at you. Where do you come from, huh?
From that door.
I know. You don't have to tell me. I know everything. Just don't even think of stealing anything here, got it? We can't afford drawing attention to the hotel.
Well, alright then. Let me just shut this suspicious door. Nobody will ever know. So, we know where the Thieves Guild is now, and it is still an open quest to tell Lord Andre about them. But that's not something we're gonna do. They seem like nice people.
You're doing business with pirates?
What? Who told you that?
I talked to one of them. He seems to be waiting for you in his bay.
What can you do? These are hard times. Everybody has to look after his own.
That's what they all say.
You will bear the consequences for this.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you all that I know, and in return, you won't rat on me, okay?
Okay, apparently I have no choice, apparently.
What do you know about the pirates?
They live in a remote part of the island of Corinthus. It can only be reached with a cog or some other ship, as far as I know. The citizens of Corinthus fear them, quite rightly so, for they're nothing but a bunch of nasty cutthroats. Still, if you ask me, they're nowhere near as bad as the bandits.
Oh, shades of gray.
What is it you're trading?
I mostly supply them with food, and for that, they give me the finest rum that's to be had in Corinthus.
Oh, completely understandable. All is forgiven.
I could take care of this deal for you.
That would be great. I cannot leave Corinthus at the moment. Here, take this package and tell Skip not to be so stingy with the rum this time. It should be at least 3 bottles.
Hey, you keep him waiting for days and expect him to cow to your demands.
That was all I wanted to know.
Alright, well, let's go drop off yet another package related to Baltram. Actually, I don't really feel like making that walk again. We'll give it to him another time. So, we have an update for Vatras on the missing people. We might as well let him know what we've learned so far. This one.
About those missing people.
Yes?
Let me tell you what I know. The farmers have lost some people as well. I have found out that the bandits are responsible for the disappearances here. The leader of the bandits is named Dexter. He is responsible for the kidnappings. I knew Dexter back in the penal colony. He was working for the ore baron Gomez then.
He certainly will remember you. You should be careful. I think you're on the right track. Just carry on.
Carrying on. I mean, it would be nice to have some backup.
Lares said that you could help me get into the monastery of the fire magicians.
Is that your choice? The way of the fire?
Yes, I want to become a fire magician.
As far as I know, they gladly accept novices in their monastery. So why would you need my help?
Lares mentioned that they demand a tribute before they let anyone into the monastery.
I cannot grant you entry into the monastery myself. I am a water mage, as you know, but I am very well acquainted with Darren, the fire magician. He spends most of his time in the marketplace, collecting alms for his church. But I have heard that he is not only in town to raise some funds. He told me about a statuette that was stolen from him. It was very important to him. He will surely allow you to enter the monastery if you can get it back for him. Of course, if you should decide to join the Circle of Fire, you can still become a member of the Ring, if you prove yourself worthy, that is.
Oh, so being a high priest of this... of the dominant faith in this island is apparently not worthy. Everybody's got their own conditions. Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that'll do it for today. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch. Subscribe to my stream archive channel. Links in the description below if you're interested in any of that goodness. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter if you give a shit. And until next time, have yourselves a wonderful night.